We've been going over this conversation for the past few days with, I guess we're describing her as former Oneida County legislator, Harmony Speciale. Yes. And we talked about her situation of signing her oath card, if it was her responsibility, if anyone else should have alerted her to the fact that time was running down. But I know you've been involved somehow in some form or fashion with her, and maybe you can clarify if you can and tell us as much as you can. But I remember there was a situation with her caucus in which your department was called to try to handle something?
Yeah, we've been called to the caucus a few times. Actually, under the previous minority leader, Mr. Tallarino, I actually stopped going to the caucus because I just couldn't deal with the there was always controversy,
sure.
And I really don't have time for all that stuff. We run a very important and large operation, a lot of responsibilities on our plate. So when some of these caucus meetings would get into these, like I said, ridiculous issues and
heated discussions,
and I'd be questioned on things that sometimes were, like I said, just inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I don't have time for this. So if any legislators needed anything, they would always reach out to me. But since I've since returned to the caucus since Mr. Sacco took over, and again, I go to both caucuses because I want to work with everybody.
Sure.
And our deputies have been called to there before. So again, it's unfortunate because there's a lot of business for the county to do each and every day, and just about every one of the legislators are 100% focused on their jobs and their massive responsibilities. But, talking about the oath of office card, I was elected the mayor of my hometown in New York Mills 3 consecutive times, 3 4-year terms. I did a term on a school board in New York Mills, 2 terms as the sheriff so far. And one of the highlights and one of the most important things, when you go through the whole process of getting signatures and working a campaign and fundraisers and all that stuff, and you end up winning the election, the highlight of that for me has always been, like every other elected official, is to raise your right hand and to take the oath of office. That is the
rewarding
law.
fulfilling.
Absolutely. That's the law. That's your obligation. And like you just said, that's one of the rewards.
Sure.
And it's always been an honor for me and many other elected officials. I mean, that's where my wife and my children come. We get our picture taken. That's huge because they're just as into this as I am. I mean, the commitments and dedication that they make, like every other elected official's family. So to say that no one reminded me to take my oath of office, that's ridiculous. I mean, that
shouldn't need a reminder.
It shouldn't need a reminder. That's like, you have to file your taxes on the 15th of April.
Or, hey, Sheriff, you didn't put your boots on. You walked outside this morning.
So and I understand everyone, has issues from time to time. But the clerk of the board, he had a conversation with her, and he is adamant that, a few days before, there was still enough time left. In his conversation, he reminded her that, you're not going to be here at the organizational meeting because you're ill, but you still have to get in before the 31st to sign your oath of office.
So you remember during the caucus that was brought up to her?
And so again, I mean, obviously, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, that is every elected official's ultimate responsibility. And to blame the clerk, I mean, Sandra DePerno was very dedicated.
She was on our show yesterday, by the way.
She does an amazing job.
She does. And she was saying that she's had hundreds of signatures without any incident over the years.
And you look at not only, does her office file those oath of office cards, but she handles birth certificates, death certificates, property deeds. I mean, literally thousands of documents a week pass through her office.
Right.
It is not her job to keep track of who's signing an oath of office card and who's not.
And again, let's look at what that card is. You're taking an oath.
Exactly.
You're taking an oath.
To swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the state of New York, and the municipality or the position that you're fulfilling. I mean, everybody takes an oath of office. Fire chiefs, village trustees, library board trustees. I mean, everybody takes an oath of office. I mean, the 450 people that work for me, as public officers, they have to file an oath of office card. And if they don't get a paycheck.
And Sandy had mentioned yesterday, in her 10 years of being county clerk, she has not saw this happen before, if I believe it.
I've never heard of it, to be honest. And like I said, just for all the personal commitment and dedication and passion you put into trying to get a position, I mean, how do you...
You would think you would want to
make
sure
that'd be like, the dream job of the world, and you go through the application process and the background process and the interview process, and then you don't show up for the first day of work.
Right, and if you don't have the opportunity, as you mentioned, to stand there in the room, Sandy also made it very clear there are other ways.
That's why you have 31 days.
Right.
Somebody else can help you out.
Exactly.
Somebody can bring the card to you. We're talking to Rob Maciol, the Oneida County Sheriff, on the Talk of the Town at 100.7 FM WUTQ. And you talked about welcoming some new employees.
Yes.
In your purview there.
Yes.
And I know that one of the things they have to do is pass an exam,
Exactly.
Obviously. And you're
it's
here
that
to talk
time of the
about
year,
that,
you
right?
know, and we always compare correction officer exam time to baseball season because they both kind of go together. Every spring we have a corrections officer exam. This year the exam is going to be held April 9th, Saturday, April 9th at MVCC. The folks who want to, begin a career with the sheriff's office, they have until February 19th.
That's
so you got
the end of next week?
You got a week from Friday.
All right.
From a week from Friday to sign up for the exam. You can get an application either offline at ocgov.net. Or you can go to the county office building on the 6th floor, the personnel department. Fill out an application. Minimum requirements, you have to be a resident of Oneida County at least 1 month prior to the exam. You have to be at least 18 years old, and you have to possess either a high school diploma or equivalency. And again, that'll get you in the door to take the exam.
Do you have to sign your name?
You do have to sign your name.
All right,
Yeah,
just want to make sure.
You do have to sign your name.
All right.
And, we currently have about 10 full-time vacancies.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely. So we anticipate, the minute these marks come back, and usually it's about 3 months. So if you're taking the exam in April, somewhere in the mid part of summer, those who score well on the test, they'll start to come in. First step is they do a physical agility test to see who, because you do have to meet minimum standards for physical fitness, running, push-ups, and sit-ups. Once the folks successfully get through that, then we'll start to call them in for interviews.
Are these positions you looking to fill, or are these added positions?
No, these are positions that we're looking to fill.
Okay.
We do have a pretty consistent overturn rate in the jail for various reasons. Some people use this as the entrance into the law enforcement field. Some people leave us for a higher paying job, similar work, but sometimes they will come work for us. They get all their training, and then they'll go off to either state corrections or Central New York Psych Center. Something
Good thing
like
to
that.
have on your resume if you're doing
it's
that kind of thing.
Because we want people to make careers out of it. I mean, the majority of the people that work in the sheriff's office in the jail do have very successful careers. I mean, we've got people that are retiring with 20, 25, 30, 35 years of service. Starting salary for the correction officer is just about $31,000. After you get through your first 6 months successfully in your training, that 31 bumps to 36.
After just 6 months?
Yeah.
Great.
You get an adjustment to a $36,000 salary, state retirement system, health insurance, the whole 9 yards. And again, it's an awesome career. You'll be working for the oldest and largest law enforcement agency in the county. Once you're inside the facility and you get a couple years under your belt, there's all kinds of room for advancement, promotions, different details. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's an extremely rewarding career. And you know what? If you're successful in getting the job and you like your job, I can guarantee you'll never get a layoff slip from us. Our facility is mandated minimum staffing by the New York State Commission of Corrections, so we have to have the same amount of people working all the time. So I have to keep these positions full.
Job security is a great perk.
Job security is definitely there for those who want to enter the field of
folks
corrections.
Folks from different ages, too? Different age groups qualify?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For corrections, minimum age is 18. There is no maximum. And a little different than law enforcement. Law enforcement, after 35, you can no longer take the civil service test, but that does not apply to corrections. So again, as long as you're at least 18 years old and in decent physical fitness condition, and we've got the availabilities, and like I said, it's a very rewarding career and a great place to work.
Small fee, and you can sign up online.
$25 fee. You do have to mail in your your application, but you can print it offline. And the county only accepts money orders for the $25.
Okay.
All right. Then you mentioned physical fitness. I know that will be a requirement for this basketball game we got coming up here soon.
That's right.
So give us some details. I don't know whether I'll be able to get out there with my knees, but maybe I'll help MC the event.
Sure. Our annual Cops versus Celebrities basketball game. We're actually going to be doing a press conference next week, but it's going to be March 19th. It's going to be held this year at the Whitesboro High School.
Great.
Which is kind of neat. Each year
Jay's
we
old
move it
stomping
around.
grounds.
Yeah.
Teams are being put together as we speak.
All right.
Always a cool event.
This will be our fourth year. First 2 years, the Cops won. Last year, Mayor Paul Mary and Coach Mike Ady's team took the trophy away from me.
right.
Celebs won last year, so I'm hoping that we can get our trophy back.
You got a tracking device on the trophy or anything?
It's in Mayor Palmieri's office,
Yeah,
so
you
every
hope.
time I go down to City Hall, it gets thrown in my face that it's there and it's not in my office. But I'm hoping that maybe we can pull out a couple secret weapons and get that trophy back to the sheriff's office where it belongs.
Great. Looking forward to that.